you will observe the 3-minute limit, and since I'm not going to keep time, I would hope somebody in the audience will speak up if the person is egregiously extending the poem. The idea is one poem per person. If it's a long poem, less than 3 minutes. And we have on the list, well, there are about 36 or 37 people signed up. And if you figure not everybody's going to do 3 minutes, we'll come in. We have an hour and 45 minutes on the schedule. We should be able to accommodate everybody on the list. And if not within the schedule, perhaps you'd care to stay over a few minutes. So the first person to sign on is not the first person on the list. The first person on the list is Marcia Casey, who is the winning poet of the contest. And from then on, we go in strict order of sign-up. So, Marcia Casey. So I'm going to do this here, and just read me.
Snowshoe Rabbit, Varying Hair. The title is after a painting by Gerard Curtis Delano, which was the inspiration for the poem. From the dark understory riddled with your runways, from the pungent cache where you feast on pine, from your secret labyrinths now a white towering, you are risen in silence in the night, riding the rim of a world of snow, aloft in a porcelain grotto flanked with blue-white wings. Serene skin anchored in the heights, free from all nets and strategies, your body is a mystery. From the opaline mosaic of your face, your charged ears extrude, turn blue, singed by the infinite. Ganglion of lightnings, you increase the world's enigma with your light. Your black eyes glitter, intimate, immense. This dance has no name. The cradle of your tongue rocks in space, older than time, with a voice full of eclipses and outer reaches. Hurry, give me a plane of silence. Like ankle rings this music, if nothing is ankle and nothing is rhythm, a zither strung in your body. It is everywhere, rare as helium. You know this song ties the knot of stars, but careful with the dawn. The stars half close their blue eyelids. Thus do you descend primordial. Thus do you descend significant. You descend with tenderness. You descend with the dew. And pieces of sky fall and are tangled in the forest. Hair that you gloss down again, that glistens. Yeah. Next is Lois Rosen.
I began this poem last year in Willa Schneeberg's workshop here. So, Sister Wives. When medjool date palms reproduce, a male radiates seeds to 50 females, a plurality of wives beyond polygamy. Sing trigamy, send trigamy. Are there such words for carnal carrying on of an ancient Mesopotamian tree? Is his the better role, spattering seed, pollen spewer, fathering millions? But oh, the loveliness of fruitless fronds, no pack of women in his sway, no glistening infants or male inheritors to nurture. The male palm pollinates but needs human hands to ensure spreading. Females bear huge bunches of progeny screened from pests, bagged in burlap, sold by the pound. Males flick and spray. That's it. Female palm roots seek minerals and moisture from the earth. raise sustenance through their bodies to feed 20-pound bunches, a good 100 pounds per tree of dates, sugary and moist. Moroccan royal food, medjols discovered in Egyptian tombs fed pharaohs journeying to heaven, called the king of fruit. But why not the queen's pride, or at least the royal family? The next reader is Phyllis Mannan.
This poem was based on a dream. My father in the Tropic of Heaven. Plaited twigs, a weave of willow. I'm surprised at my father's new lightheartedness. Without our knowing, he's built himself a house that air and light pass through. A house for mangoes and kiwis, with eaves like a basket brim. I suppose the walls must breathe, the climate's so tropical. Tight 2x4s would hold dampness. Without warning, I beam inside, near a dining table covered with orange linen. My father must have shaped all this on a secret lathe. Beveled legs, smooth edges, rooms in a reverse plan of the house it took my growing up for him to hammer out. Tipping a watering can above lilies out back, I see they're irrigated by a drip system. Beyond the lilies, my father stands on the bank, pointing to a river. He wades out there knee-deep, showing me the way toward water. And next is Stephanie Lenox.
I'm Louisa. And I'm here with my apprentice, Louisa. I'm going to read a poem from a small free book that you can pick up at the Early Press table. It's actually a brochure. But this poem is called Inheritance. Sunday afternoons, grandfather and I studied the Guinness Book, dog-earing our favorites. Mike, the headless chicken that lived 18 months before dying in an Arizona hotel room. The man whose arm was severed and reconnected 3 separate times, Lazarus, Jesus, and the lame girl combined. Your grandmother is in there, he nudged me. Keep looking. I scanned the medical marvels, extreme bodies for the woman he said could balance a piano on the tip of her tongue. I stared at each smudged photo, same eyes squinting against amazing burden, until every woman began to look like family. Other times we huddled over the family tree, its names branching out on butcher paper, me captivated by the word genealogy, as if it contained the power to grant my 3 greatest wishes, while he plotted everything, traced us back to Singowa, chief of a tribe of pranksters. He pinched my skin until the blood rose. See, you are red. He showed me how to cup my hand over my mouth to make a war cry. Once before leaving, he said he had a present for me and dropped something weightless, invisible in my hand. The world's smallest guitar, he explained. Like the one we read about, size of a human blood cell, completely functional. Now play me a song. My pulse picked up as I tried to think of what I could do. Leaning over with the tip of his fingernail, he strummed once the center of my palm, told me to press my ear against it. Next up is C. Stephen Blue.
Test. Testing. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I apologize in advance that this poem is about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. This is the title poem from my new chapbook, Wild Weed. My stuff is rough. It's bare bones. I hate to answer telephones. I want to look you in the eyes when we meet. But it ain't no use in this fast-paced world to ride a horse or court a girl. If you take your time to get there, she's just moved on. And what becomes of the alley cat on the night of the hard driving rain, when the lightning speaks loud and everyone crowds in the shelter of warm window panes? I live my life in a pot-bellied stove. I'm an oak tree with ages to tell. I'm the earthquake commander, a green salamander, a salesman with nothing to sell. But did you see me on the night of the noon, when everything changed in an instant? The air was so clean and the grass was so green that a new age did not seem so distant. In the quiet, an angel calls, awakened by the engine stalls of the inner city, pondering its sleep. The dream is a draftsman, a hill-dwelling craftsman, a step in a puddle on the road to forever, and life is a boat in a great castle moat. We all circle yet must row together. Now is then, and yesterday's tomorrow, but how can we live it like we mean it, when we're running so fast that the race cannot last, and the space in between lies unseen? Or is that to lay in a meadow and ponder the meaning of the wild blue yonder, the stars at night, or a daffodil? The momentum is great as it rolls down the hill of imagination gone to seed. I'm a wild weed. Why do I feel so safe in the rain and long to sit behind waterfalls? I gaze at blue crystal, I tell tattered tales, and listen when eternity calls. Maybe this just goes on and on, or maybe the hunger can't fathom the dawn. It's the spark in the dark behind your eyes, when you sleep just the moment, and then it is gone, and you weep. Sheltering skies pour forth from your eyes, and germinate the seed of my fast-growing need. I'm a wild weed. Yes, I'm a wild weed. Next up is Anita Sullivan.
I think the performance poets are taking over. Can't hear me? Oh, okay. I don't want to. So I'm going to just read a short poem. It's called Migration, and I think these days I don't usually write political poetry, and I never mean to, but that sometimes it sort of sneaks in because you're under so much pressure, because so many awful things are happening. So I started a poem never knowing how it's going to end. This one's called Migration. Canada Goose shadows cross the asphalt road rapidly, rapidly, left to right, like rats running from a flooded sewer, colorless, pouring over the hump of a minor globe. And it matters,
down here, only because up there, actual birds flick so urgent nobody can stop them. Even the car seems to know and almost rears up like a horse, its metal parts shattering into molecules of their former mineral selves. What magnet will these filings now line up to, then fall away, as if they too have escaped being shot down? Dear God, just like the poets, the geese are still loose in the world.
Okay.
I can't quite read this, but the last name is Brockfield? And Carol. Oh, Carol, sorry.
Can't read what this one's handwriting.
This is something I wrote here, and I thank Cecilia and Susan for one of the prompt lines, which I guess they're not here. If they were here, they would recognize right away. I couldn't write this anywhere else, I don't think. The water rolls in, swells, spills, recedes, leaves luminous sand. Sparrows shoot from the underbrush. A crow glides by like a kite on a string, black as death against the horizon. A sea-addled dog flushes curlews. The water rolls in, swells, spills, recedes. In some ways, you are already dead. As I walk the beach, you are underfoot, overhead. It is you who burst forth joyful from the seagrass. You are the gull that lights. Today you come on the wind like memory. The water rolls in, swells, spills, recedes, and each wave calls your name.
It's Sally. Sally Ehrman.
Water baby. I inhale. I exhale. Fingers tap tub sides. Release tension like a loosened balloon. Hot water eases back stress. I don't cry because it is too easy to slip into pain. Eyes close to another contraction. Hands press back and front against fiberglass tub containing expansion. Don't touch me, I gasp, wanting only water and this sharp. I sound like Linda Blair intoning, "Help me, baby," certain she hears and wants to know. She needs nothing more to bring her head down, round, hard bush of her being born in the time it takes a gumball to land in my hand. I put the penny in and turn the handle. Dieffenbacher.
These are hard acts to follow, so I'm going to read something different than I had planned. This one is called Making Love to Sound. Will you love me in this graven night? Will you be my kissy-coo, rising from set-inclining darkness? Let no declension, no sodden mouth sorrow stop us. Those are mere words, the Panzoic hidey holes of unfathomed canyon area, and they must not hold us. Oh, be my kissy-coo, be my bogmate. Out of fog benighted clay, with no fears of fandango, be the fool immusion. Whip your windy flaminaria out of fallow land. Break your cummerbunds and take me in wide cantamarous meadows with songs of salpinating flukels. Let us find our tendrils without allowances, unbound by dearth or death, moving ever out of saw-whip webs on sailless seas. Let us freshenate our minds, play clavichordia of dared descent and ascent, bellow the holy yippee-haw we were made for, this tankard-like cornucopia, this always, oh me, oh my, oh. Jonah Bornstein.
Of breath and mirrors. And now she turns away from the breeze, the sea, the desert that tries to bloom in her gut, to a wall somewhere within, a sweet odor of paint to seize her indifference. What shall she do? Fold up like a spider in the shower, accept the fumes that drench her body, embrace her death? Press harder into the wall until it unleashes the flight of seed, the binding seed. Press until pain triumphs, releases, twisting, breaking. The dry bones of memory laid in the desert mortuary. Or feel his hand pressed to her wrist while she sleeps. The confidence of unconsciousness. There is no logic outside this moment, no contract greater than intake and outtake, no intimacy greater than the tenuous breath distilled on a shower's mirror, that she might see what she is and where she has been, arouse the world behind her. Bruce Barton. I looked on the list beforehand.
I wanted to read a new poem, but this morning I was inspired by a certain panel discussion, so I'm going to be reading an older poem. The first thing you noticed were the balls. Two symmetrical stones stretching their sack, falling backward over the penis. Two big balls dominating his small white body, dominating the stuffy room, its sounds and odors. Two big balls the nurse was so very proud to point out, holding him high on a throne of white sheets, feet up to display the crown jewels, as if no one would notice without the practiced announcement, "It's a boy." You didn't see the doctor or acknowledge the relieved but depleted mother, or appreciate the dedication and skill of the delivery room workers out of their warm beds at this early morning hour. All you saw were the balls. From the tired eyes of half-sleep, balls that take you through life, do their silent work in the dark, suspended, secretive, manipulating he who doesn't see his own or realize their magnetic tug. Balls, blind guide of man, guarded by instinct in places you joke about publicly, but visit alone. Rarely seen or touched by others, frail and vulnerable carriers of the future and the self. Magnificent spheres of designer tissue, pinched tight to make you drool. Soft and nurturing, hard in abuse, dormant after use. Sleeping eggs that never hatch at home, taking credit but denying responsibility. These serious warriors battle with gravity, the demands of disguised aggressors, and the discomfort of sudden shocks. Oh balls, perennially shrunken fists of deceit, minding your body mindlessly.
Linda Smith?
And what number is Linda? What
11.
11. Yep. Oh, sorry.
Did they get out of order somehow?
No,
Whoa.
we just wondered how long we had.
Yeah, that's fine. We're just trying to think where we are. This was a response to a class that I took. We were supposed to look at a question, how all the ramifications of when we ask a question or when we receive a question. What do we think of? How many children do you have? At a fundraising party for charity, a stranger asks, how many children do you have? To me, it's not a topic for idle conversation, but a sobering issue. So it depends, 2 or 3. Is it a healthy, dark chocolate or sweetened milk chocolate day? It depends who asks. 2 for doctors who have medical reasons to know my live births. 3 to the counselor if dealing with grief. The number depends on the degrees of acquaintance and necessity. I birthed 2 sons. We birthed an adopted daughter. It depends on the context. Does the inquisitor want to know how many naturally born? 2. Number chosen? 1. All 3 were wanted and beloved. 1 son died in 1982. Do they want to know how many children are alive or dead? I ask myself, how much do they really want to know? If I say once 3 and now just 2, will they really want to know how 1 son died? Or would it be too much information? Do they need more than a number? Names, ages, gender, where they are now? Even grandchildren are beyond baby picture sharing stage. Is the question a sneaky way to ask how I got so much gray hair? Do I have stepchildren? And how many fathers and mothers are involved? 2 mothers, 1 alive, me, and 1 dead before we found her. 2 fathers, 1 my husband and 1 unidentified. How much do I want to reveal? How healed am I at that moment? Those who know me well know the answers and know how to ask questions about my children, carefully and openly. Fluid dark chocolate sauce or hardened milk duds today? On this occasion, I give a charitable dark M&M's response. I say 3. I remember some people can't conceive children. And I ask another question.